So as we have people trickle in, I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Ashley San Miguel, and I'm the Family and First Generation Connections Coordinator with the Student and Family Connections Office. I'm relatively new to this role. I've been with UCCS since July, and the primary part of my role is to connect and engage with the incoming and returning families of our UCCS students. So a part of that is our webinar series. And as we're looking towards next semester, I would love to hear about what you would look for in a webinar, how often you want to see these webinars. So please feel free to share that feedback with me to our email at family@uccs.edu. Today's webinar is on supporting your students through the Wellness Center, Mental Health, and the Campus Recreation Center. So we're going to look at what support services there are on campus, what students may be going through, and also how we can just make sure that they're being guided towards the right resources. We have three really great presenters today, so I am going to go ahead and make sure that we don't have anyone waiting in the lobby. Cha-cha-cha-cha. Okay, cool. And I will pass it over to Chrissy. So Chrissy, if you want to take over control of the screen sharing, you can go ahead and do so.
All right. Is everyone able to see? Okay. So thank you all so much for joining us today. My name is Chrissy Bailey. I'm the Assistant Director of Wellness Promotion, and I work at the Wellness Center at UCCS. And I'll let my co-hosts introduce themselves really quickly before we get started. Go ahead, Dave.
Good evening, everybody. I'm David Faring. I'm the Director of Campus Recreation, and I've been here at UCCS for about 7 years now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Kathy Calvert. I'm the Director of Mental Health Services at the Wellness Center, and I've been here almost 11 years now.
All right. And I didn't say how long I've been here. I've been on campus for about 17 years in different roles, and I've been in my current role for just over 1 year. So as Ashley said, we are going to share with you today information about the Recreation and Wellness Center services available to your students, and also talk about some things that they may be going through at this time of the semester and ways that you can help them. So I will get us started. UCCS is one of the first universities in the country to integrate health services, mental health services, nutrition, wellness promotion, and campus recreation all in one space. And the reason we did that is so we can offer the best holistic care for our students. We have health and mental health services in the Wellness Center, and those services are completely integrated, which means we have shared medical record, students coming for appointments, check in at the same place. Students will call one number to reach anyone at the Wellness Center. And then also in the Wellness Center, we have nutrition and wellness promotion. And then the whole Wellness Center is housed inside Campus Recreation Center. So all of us work very closely together to provide that holistic care for our students. So I'll talk a little bit about each of our different areas and the services we provide. So for medical health services, it's very similar to what you would find at a primary care physician's office. We see all kinds of health issues. We can see students for various illnesses, injuries. We also do physicals. We can do labs and vaccinations, birth control consultations, minor procedures. We don't bill insurance at the Wellness Center, so all of our medical visits are just $20. The only additional costs are for procedures, labs, prescriptions. Our providers can send labs. We use Quest Laboratories, and they can bill insurance directly, so we can send student insurance information with labs, and they can bill for those. Or students can pay out of pocket if they don't have insurance. Our rates are greatly reduced to help students be able to pay. We also have some prescriptions available at the Wellness Center that we can give to students for reduced cost, or we can also write prescriptions that students can fill at a pharmacy. So we also have mental health services at the Wellness Center, and we do individual therapy sessions as well as couples and family therapy if students need that. We also have a lot of great therapy groups, and students can really benefit from group therapy where they process what they're going through with other students who are going through similar things. Our cost for group therapy is $10. And then for individual therapy, starting this semester, every student gets 3 sessions for free every semester. So they can use that. And then after that, it's just $20 per session. We also have neuropsychological testing available, and we have a psychiatric nurse practitioner that can also be seen for just $20, and she's able to prescribe mental health medications for a whole variety of mental health concerns. And then also, so you're aware, we do have various funds and resources from donors that help students who have financial need and can't pay for the services that we provide, or if they need a referral to a specialist and they don't have insurance, or they need an x-ray or glasses. We have an emergency fund that individuals donate to that we can use for that. Along. So we also have some contracted services at the Wellness Center. We have a chiropractor who just recently finished all of her education and licensure for acupuncture. So she provides chiropractic and acupuncture services. And then we also have a massage therapist. Students can access them directly. Their phone numbers are here. And as you can see, they provide their services at greatly reduced rates compared to what you might find in the community. And then our wellness promotion team, we do all kinds of workshops and programming around different well-being topics, including a lot of mental health topics like stress and time management. So that's what my team does. We also have a great resource called Silver Cloud, which is an online mental health resource where people can access it individually, go through modules on their own, or with the assistance of a coach. That is a free service available to all of our students as well as our employees. We also drive around the wellness wagon. You can tell your students to keep an eye out for us. It's just a fun way to connect with students. We pass out tips and education about different wellness topics. We always have giveaways and snacks. And then you can also follow us on Instagram. We put a lot of great wellness tips and information about upcoming events there. Oops. And then I'll hand it over to Dave to talk a little bit more about campus recreation.
All right, thank you. Again, I just wanted to plug that you can go into the Q&A as a function to ask any questions that you might have to us as presenters here today. So with campus recreation, I want to share a little bit about who we are and what we do here. Chris, if you could move forward. Great. So a little bit about who we are. Our mission is really to create transformative educational and recreational opportunities for our students here to really enhance their UCCS experience, to really complement their academic pursuits and really give them that out of the classroom experience. Our values are about community, leadership, development, well-being, diversity, innovation, and health and safety. One of the things that we hear from our students is that why they participate. And we recently did a survey and we found that 72% of our students really participate with us to help their physical care about themselves. Secondly, 69% of students say they come to us because they want to promote their health, mental health, and develop strategies to manage their stress. And another 57% want to explore their interests, maybe learn a new skill or activity, as why they come to campus recreation. So a little bit about our spaces that we have on campus. So we have the Recreation and Wellness Center, we have Alpine Field, and the UCCS Trail System. Within the Recreation and Wellness Center, we have 4 gymnasium courts for basketball, volleyball, badminton, pickleball for activities. We have a fitness center floor, which includes our weight room, our cardio equipment. We have 3 multi-purpose rooms that are arranged for group fitness classes or other activities. We have a climbing wall, an aquatic center that has a lap pool, vortex, and a hot tub. We have an indoor track that is for walking and jogging or running. We also have social spaces throughout the facility that students can come, do homework if they like, a place to socialize and connect with other students. And then we also offer locker rooms with lockers that they can utilize and rent for the day or for the semester. Alpine Field is our turf outdoor field, so we have a variety of sport activities that can happen there. And then our UCCS trail system, we have over 13 miles of developed trail on our campus, and many of those trails connect to Pulpit Rock or Austin Bluffs Open Space, which are city trails available to connect to. Go ahead, Chrissy. So a little bit about our programs. This is our program listing here, and I'm going to go through each one of them about what we offer and what happens in them. So our first program is our aquatics and safety. So we offer open recreation opportunities in our pool for lap swimming, water basketball, volleyball, and a water slide are also available. As I mentioned, a hot tub too, which is really great. Also from programs that are in our aquatics and safety we're an American Red Cross training site and an American Heart Association training site. So we're able to certify students in CPR, first aid, and AED, as well as lifeguard training through those certification bodies. We also provide dive-in movies where we'll turn off the lights, play a movie, and put glow sticks at the bottom of the pool, which students really like, and they kind of float around on inner tubes, which is a great event. We also do log rolling sessions, and then aqualining, which is kind of a form of slacklining, and you see a little bit of a picture there. We recently had that, and we had close to 30 students participate in that event that we had in our pool area. Next is our fitness program. We offer group fitness classes as one of our programs, and we typically offer between 25 and 30 classes a week. They range in a variety of formats from cardio, cycling, dance, martial arts, mind, body, and strength. We recently became a Les Mills site for offering those group fitness formats, which our students are really excited to participate in. And then we also have our Fitness Buddies. Our Fitness Buddies is a partnership with our College of Health Sciences. It's a peer-led program where students that might be looking to connect with someone to do movement or exercise or just be physically active that may not have someone to connect with, or they have an interest in an activity. And what we do is they submit interest form, and then we try to pair them with a peer leader to engage in activity. So for example, if I was interested in hiking or walking, I might put that as my interest, and then we will connect them with a peer that is interested in doing the same activities and help them strive to meet their goals. And then they would connect and do that activity. They're not personal trainers in any way, but they're there as an accountability buddy as well as a social connection to the program. Some services that we offer in fitness is our personal training. So we offer one-on-one training or small group training that could be 2 to 4 participants in that session with our trainers. Both our group fitness and personal trainers are nationally certified through agencies before they can instruct in both areas. And then lastly, one of our services is our body composition and fitness assessments. So our personal trainers will take the student through a fitness assessment and body comp to help them see where their beginning activity level can be and see where their physical activity is at. Next is our Soul Center, which is our student outdoor learning experience. That is also a center in our facility, which we have a climbing wall, which has bouldering and top rope climbing. We have a 27-foot wall with auto-belays where they'll clip in and climb. We have a moon board, which is a self-standing, freestanding bouldering wall, which is really unique, comes from England, and it is through an app. You download the program, and then you type in if you're a novice, advanced climber, and LED lights light up on the board to distinguish your route. You can communicate with anybody in the world that has this app, so you can get feedback on their routes, look at different types of routes available. Our students really enjoy that as well. Also in the Soul Center, we have a bike and ski shop. So we have bike techs that can do bike tune-ups, Or if the students know already how to utilize the tools and fix their bike, they can come into the bike shop and do that themselves and access the tools and equipment. We also offer ski and wax and snowboard services through our wax services. They can drop off their board, we will wax them and get them ready for their adventure that way. Also, if they don't have the equipment and are interested in doing their own adventure, they can go to our outdoor equipment rental in the Soul and rent that equipment, from sleeping bags to backpacks to mountain bikes to skis to snowboards. Whatever their adventure, we have that equipment for them to rent at a really low cost. So programs that we offer through Soul are our trip program. We do kayaking, skydiving, hiking, ski and snowboarding are some of our more popular trips, and we provide many more offerings. We also offer events through our Soul program. We do a ladies' night climb, Soul socials. We do a variety of other events like a climbing competition throughout the semester. Then we offer workshops and classes for students like Intro to Wilderness First Aid, a Learn to Climb series if they've never learned how to climb, or if they want to learn how to do mountain biking. We've done a paracord event as well, our class. And then we also offer NOLS Wilderness First Aid certification, so you can get that national certification in Wilderness First Aid if you're interested as well. Next, we have special events. So we offer large events throughout campus. Some of the events we do is during kickoff week, which is called Clyde's Kickoff Week here, is the GPS Gateway Days. So our first year students get to do recreation and wellness activities within our facility. We do Rec Fest, which is kind of our signature kickoff event that the Recreation and Wellness departments put on. We had over 800 students participate in that event, where there's free food, activities going on, highlighting the facility and our opportunities. We will be planning FamFest during Family Weekend, which is next weekend. So if you are coming, we welcome you all. You also get free access with your student to just come in and drop in and utilize the facility however you like, as well as if your student has a Fit Pass for the semester, you can attend the fitness class with them for free of charge. And then Bash the Bluffs is our campus and community 5K run and walk that we host annually here at UCCCS. We also have our sports and youth programs, which makes up our intramural sports, club sports, and rec kids program. In our intramural sports, we offer over 40 leagues and events throughout the year. It's open to all skill levels. We offer sports from your traditional basketball, flag football, and soccer, but also we offer esports. We offer a trivia night. So we do unique sports that are not your traditional sports as well. And again, open to all skill levels. Our club sports are student organizations that are registered here at UCCS that are student-led. So we partner with these student organizations that they compete at a local, regional, and national level. We had our swim club. They qualified for nationals, 2 of their members, and participated in that last year. Also with our club sports, they are open to all skill levels. So if you're interested in learning the sport or competing, there are no cuts to the club program. But if a team needs to select a traveling team, they can do so. And then lastly is our Rec Kids program. We offer summer camps, we offer kids night out, and birthday parties are available as well. Also, we have employment opportunities for your students. So we're one of the largest student employers on campus. We typically have about 100 unique students a year that work for campus recreation. Our positions are from entry level to leadership positions within our department, and our work schedules are typically worked around the student's class schedule or other obligations. So it's really a great opportunity for them. And the positions that we offer within our department are aquatics and safety, our lifeguards, swim instructors, safety instructors, which teach our American Red Cross and American Heart Association classes. Our facility operations are fitness center monitors. They oversee our fitness center floors. Our guest services assistants, or GSA, which are our membership service desk helping students answer questions, our trails crew, and then a building manager. In fitness, we have group fitness instructors and personal trainers. Membership and marketing, we have our graphic designers, social media and marketing assistants. In our SOUL program, we have our guest services assistants at the desk, and then trip leaders. And then sports and youth programs has officials and supervisors. And many of our areas have program assistants that you can take that leadership opportunity. We will train and develop all the students, so those skills are necessary. But some of the positions will require certification pending upon the position. And then lastly, this is how you can connect with UCCS or UCCS Campus Recreation with our department through the website, Instagram, Facebook, Campus Rec app, email, and phone number.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of what you might expect your student to be experiencing at this point in the semester, and then also talk about the things that you can do as a family member to be able to support them. It is midterms, so we've got students that are thinking about either they've already started taking their midterms or they've got them this week, or there may be some that go into next week. So that's kind of on everybody's mind right now is midterms. So on the mental health side, I just wanted to add a little bit to what Chrissy was sharing. For mental health services, we have 11 licensed clinicians that work full-time here at the Wellness Center. And then we have 9 graduate students. So that could be anywhere from somebody who's getting their working on their degree in counseling, becoming a licensed professional counselor, licensed social worker, and then we also have students working on their doctorates in psychology. So those are the clinicians that we have. It allows us to see a lot of students when we have 20 different individuals that can be working with our different students that come in for different reasons. So what we see when we're working with the students are some of the things that I'm sharing with you here. What we know is that right now students are still trying to adapt. They're adapting to their course loads, their new established friend groups that they've created, whether they're working or not. There's so many things they're still trying to adapt to. And what we know is that many of them are not sleeping well. Many of them are struggling with eating well, and many of them are making some poor choices. Additionally, what we look at is that some of the students are going to tell us that they feel like they're falling behind in their coursework. And this could be true. Your student might be struggling with that at this point. But it also could be true that maybe they are managing their coursework, but their expectation is so high that they're expecting a lot more out of themselves than what they really need to be doing at this point. So being able to kind of look at whether or not their concerns about coursework is accurate. Many of our students start to procrastinate right about now, especially if they need to reach out to faculty or their advisor. It's hard for them to feel comfortable sometimes with connecting with those individuals, and this is usually the time when they might need to. Maybe they need a little bit of extra support on getting ready for a test, or maybe they need extra information about a project that they're needing to work on. So many of them are struggling with some procrastination. This is also the time when they really do need additional resources, where they maybe need to be reaching out to our Excel center so that they can get maybe additional support with math, or they need to be going to the rec center so that they are getting their physical activity so that they can, what we know is physical activity is going to impact their ability to learn and brain functioning. So we want them to be doing that. Or maybe they need to be reaching out to the wellness center. They need to be maybe talking to somebody about some of their mental health struggles, or maybe they need to be coming in because they're not feeling well and being able to see one of our medical providers. But many of them struggle, again, with reaching out for that kind of support. We also know that students will start talking about struggling more with anxiety right now, anxious about doing well in their coursework, maybe anxious about other things, and that they're also starting to feel like they may be getting more depressed during this time. What we know about that is that however your student coped with anxiety or depression in the past, if they did, that's how they're going to cope with it now, until we can teach them maybe some new skills. So the Wellness Promotion Group does a really great job of getting out there and talking about different ways of managing and skills and coping, and then also being able to come in for more traditional therapy can help with that as well. They may be struggling with their relationships right now. So maybe there's issues kind of going on with the roommates. The honeymoon phase is over. So they're not necessarily feeling, maybe there's some issues that have come up with who they're living with. Maybe they're having issues or worries around a new intimate partner relationship or new friends that they've created. And sometimes they might hyper focus on the relationships instead of school. And so we see that kind of starting to happen around this time of the semester. Some of the students are feeling really overwhelmed, and when they do feel overwhelmed, they will tend to shut down or stop going to class, stop spending time with their friends or roommates, not getting their coursework done, kind of stay in their room, stay isolated, playing video games or sleeping, or being on social media for long periods of time. And then also what we see about this period of time is that the fun parts of college, the clubs, the parties, hanging out with friends, all of those things may be getting in the way of them preparing for classes. And when they do that, it increases a lot of the things that I just mentioned. Okay, Chrissy. So how can you help? So what we want you to do is remember that you know your student best, and you're going to be able to help kind of identify when there might be some trouble that they're struggling with. So paying attention to signs for your own student about how they're doing. These will be, like I said before, similar to maybe the signs you saw when they were in high school. Inform yourself about campus resources, things like today, that you're learning more about what's available to your students so that you can help them when they're starting to struggle. And you can say, hey, did you think about maybe going to the rec center? I heard the other night that they have this program that you can, fitness buddies, that you can meet up with somebody so that you can have someone to work out with. So you having that information is going to be really helpful. I think it's important for you to remember that you are an important part of this process for them, and they really need you to be what we would consider a steady part of their world. So what I mean by that is really wanting you to be the person that kind of, if you, let's say at the beginning of them coming to college, you agreed that on Sunday nights at 5 o'clock, you're going to call them. And what you've noticed the last couple of weeks is that they really aren't wanting to talk. You still calling at 5 o'clock on Sunday, even if they don't answer and they text you back and say, I'm not available, having that continued steady kind of, I know that my family member is going to be calling me, whether I want to talk to them or not, that feels good. So just kind of remembering that they need you to kind of be in that space for them. Try to be a part of your student supports when they're having trouble. And we'll talk a little bit more about how to do that, but realizing that you do play an important role in supporting them, even if you aren't physically close by and you're only being able to support them by phone calls and texts. So that talks about communication. What we know for effective college student success, regular communication with their support systems, including their family system, is really important. But we want to remember that it needs to be appropriate for both of you. So, for example, when my oldest daughter went off to college, I said to her, okay, so let's plan on, we'll talk at least, 2 or 3 times a week. And her response was, how about every 2 or 3 weeks? And I said, I'm not sure I'm okay with that. How about twice a week? And she said, how about once a week? And we negotiated once a week. So that's what worked for her. And she regularly was really comfortable with once a week. Every once in a while, she might reach out sooner. My second daughter heads off 2 years later to college. And I said, okay, so we'll plan to talk once a week. And she said, only once a week? I think I want to actually talk to you more than that. So knowing that my 2 kiddos were very different and kind of talking about it ahead of time, what makes sense. So that's one of the things that we want you to think about, one of the ways you can help. I always tell parents especially, but family members, remember, don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer to. Because if you open up the door to ask a question and they feel comfortable trying to share it with you, and then you have a negative reaction, that may make it a little bit harder for them to reach out and talk to you about other things. So just remember, don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer. And one of the best things that you can do for them at this period of time is helping them coaching them instead of helping them solve the problems. So what I suggest is, give advice, but do it sparingly. But definitely give feedback when you're asked directly about your opinion. So if they're asking you directly, please give them feedback and give them honest feedback of what it is that what you think they should do in this situation or how you think it can be managed. But right now, especially as they're starting to feel more pressure with midterms and trying to figure out the semester, giving a lot of advice, you'll notice maybe that your student starts to maybe shut down a little bit more, or isn't calling as often, or isn't asking as many questions or telling you as much. And some additional things that we want you to be thinking about is that we want to be looking for any red flags when we're talking specifically about especially mental health and psychological issues that may be coming up during this period of time. And this might be something that's really new for your family. And this also might be something that you maybe experienced before with your student and kind of are anticipating. But what we want to think about is what are the unexpected and unexplained changes that are going on? So physically, what's different? I recommend that if you can do FaceTime or if you can do any other type of call where you can see them, maybe you don't do that every single time, but every few calls, maybe try to actually see your students, see how they look. If they are generally somebody who's had really great hygiene and you haven't seen them or talked to them in a week or so, and when you get on the phone, it looks like they haven't changed their clothes in 4 or 5 days and they haven't showered, they don't look like they normally do, that's going to be a red flag. That's something that you want to kind of be watching for and paying attention to. If they're not going and working out at the gym like they normally do, or they're not hiking with their friends, again, that's something else to be thinking about. Behaviorally, what are the red flags we're looking for? Are they not doing their normal routine of maybe they're not brushing their teeth as often? They're not sleeping regularly. They're not going to eat with their friends. They're staying in their room. Those kind of behavioral changes are the things we're also looking for that might be red flags. Cognitively, we're looking at um, all of a sudden, are they struggling in classes? Are their grades dropping? That wasn't happening maybe at the beginning of the semester, or that wasn't an issue for them in high school. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen in college, because it certainly is an adjustment on how to learn and how to be able to give back the information that the professor's asking for. But if it all of a sudden is happening, or they're really struggling with concentration, or they're telling you that they are really struggling with remembering things. Again, that could be that they're just not sleeping well, or they're not eating well and fueling their bodies, but it also could be something else that's going on. And then, of course, emotionally, that's another red flag that we want to be watching for. We think about, if our kiddo is somebody who's always been just really animated with all emotions, crying, laughing, really happy 1 minute, and that's their normal. And then all of a sudden, when we're talking to them, they seem very flat, like they don't have a lot of energy. That's going to be something that we want to really seriously talk to them about and have a conversation. And also the other way around, too. We want to be watching out for any of our students who generally are maybe much more calm and don't have a lot of range of emotions. And then all of a sudden you're talking to them and they're talking really rapidly and they are not letting you speak, and they're having these really grand ideas about themselves or what they're going to be doing. That's also another red flag. So paying attention to those is really important. We want to remember that right now our students are going to make mistakes, and that's how they grow. We know that growth happens in the struggle, right? So we want to make sure that we provide a space for them to struggle, but we don't want them to struggle too much that they get to the point where they can't function. So one of the things that's helpful is helping them create healthy boundaries with the way they communicate with their friends, the way they communicate with their faculty, healthy boundaries in time management. You need to stop studying so that you actually can get 6 hours of sleep. It's not helpful. You won't retain information if you don't get the right amount of sleep. You do need to go to the cafeteria and get some food and get something other than the protein bars you've been eating for the last 3 days. Kind of creating boundaries around how much they're trying to study and push through. And then also they might need help with just understanding healthy boundaries around relationships. Helping our students know how to ask for help. Not everybody has had that opportunity. As a parent, I was the parent for my kiddo until they were 18. And so it made sense that there was a lot of things that I was doing to kind of take care of situations, helping them understand how to ask for help from their teachers in school, getting their doctor's appointments scheduled for them. That was just a natural part of that, where we were in our life cycle. But as a college student, I need to help them kind of transition to the place where they're doing a lot of that. It's really important that you talk openly about what you're seeing. So if you're seeing ineffective behavioral things that are going on, talk to them about it. The whole idea, I keep saying about sleep, but we know that that's one of the key pieces for college students is they're not getting enough sleep. And that creates then space for them to not make necessarily really the best decisions that they need to make for themselves. But openly talking about it, saying, hey, how is your sleep? Oh, it's fine, it's fine. Okay. And then maybe later on, ask again, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Oh, I didn't eat. Well, when was the last time you ate? Those kinds of things. And just gently talking to them about it. But it's really important to think about if your student is starting to experience any psychological issues while they're at school, that is the time that we want you to step in. But we'd like you to try to step in at the level where your student cannot manage on their own. So, for example, most college students, when they come, they're 18. If they're 18 or older and they want to see a doctor or see a nurse practitioner at the wellness center, or you want to see a therapist at the wellness center, they actually have to be the ones who call and make that appointment. So if you were to call and say, I'd like to get an appointment for my son, um, the person at the front desk would let you know that your son needs to call. So if your son just needs help with trying to figure out how to call, like just needs suggestions, or maybe walk through what they might ask you and what to be prepared for, that's one way that you can jump in and help them. But maybe your son is at a place where they really truly are really struggling emotionally. Then that might be where you need to be with your child when they're calling, so that you can support them that way. We want them to learn how to advocate for themselves on campus with lots of different departments. But during psychological distress, that may not be the time when they're going to be able to do it as effectively. So you're just going to have to kind of gauge that a little bit. But we do want you to be thinking about the fact that if you are starting to notice a lot of red flags and there's some other things that are concerning you, please make sure that you're kind of jumping in at that point to give support. The last thing I want to mention to you is submitting a report to Care Team. So Care Team is a group of different departments here on campus that our whole function is to provide care for students who are really struggling, in whether it's struggling academically, mentally, emotionally, struggling with roommates, whatever that might be, where they're to past the point of being able to maybe get the support or resources that they need. So it's part of Dean of Students' office, the Care Team. So we have people from the Dean of Students' office, myself and the executive director for the mental health services. We sit on the Care Team. The director of residence housing sits on Care Team. Our police department, our police chief is on the Care Team. Office of Institutional Equity. So we have different departments that typically are the ones that kind of help with different situations. So you can, as a parent, you can submit a report if you want, but you can also know that the faculty are the majority of the people who send in the reports. So if a faculty member hasn't seen your student in a week or two, and your student's no longer communicating with them, they generally will send us a report saying, hey, so-and-so, I talked to them at this date. It's now been 2 weeks. I haven't been able to get a hold of them. And then we will determine, based on what the issue is, who's going to reach out and provide that support. So it might be me that reaches out and just to see how they're doing, especially if there's anything that the faculty members worried about their mental health, then my mental health team will be the ones that'll take the lead on that. But let's say we are not sure where they are. And we've had situations where we've had family members who haven't been able to get a hold of their student for maybe a week or two, and they reach out. I'm not able to reach them. They're not answering their phone. And so maybe we have our director of residence halls is able to go in and see how many times they've swiped in. So then we can say, okay, they've been swiping in and we can see that they're going to class. So we know that they're doing okay, but we still may reach out. Their RA might reach out to them, or someone from residence halls that might reach out and say, hey, how are you doing? What can we help you with? The whole purpose of this is to find out what more support do they need and how can we get it to them. So I would encourage you, it's on the Dean of Students website, so you can just go on there. The form is on there. It's easy to fill out if you ever need it. But that's another resource that we have for you as a family member and how you can help. So we have our contact information for the Wellness Center and Campus Recreation, so that you can reach out to us if you need to at any point in time. And I think we also have, Ashley may have our direct contact information as well, so that you can reach out to me at any point in time. But at this point, I think we'd like to open it up for questions. So what questions do you have for us? I know that there's been some that have come through I haven't been able to keep up with all of them. But
Yeah,
Ashley, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I can start asking some questions from the chat. I've definitely seen some good ones, so let's just start. We already have an answer to this one, but just to reiterate it, how much does it cost to use the wellness center or the recreation facilities? And I know that there's like a range of answers to that one, so.
So I'll just say for the Wellness Center, basic services, individual therapy, couples therapy, going to the medical side for just regular appointments, it's $20. There are 3 free visits for therapy when they first start every semester, but otherwise it's $20. Other things like contracted services, lab fees, if there are any, psychological testing, those kinds of things will have a different fee. But I will tell you that we tried, like for example, psychological testing, we only charge what the fee is for the actual tests that we have. So, for example, you can, maybe come in and get psychological testing for ADHD and maybe just other learning disabilities might cost around maybe $100 to $120, where in the community that's going to cost around $3,000.
Thank you.
From the campus recreation side, there is no membership fee to access our recreation and wellness center. It's part of their student fees, but some of our programs and services do have a registration cost that is there. I would say most of those are very nominal or very competitive to what you might experience in the community at a very lower rate or discounted rate for a similar experience or a program or activity. All of that information is on our website if you're looking at different costs of the programs to take a look.
Great, thank you so much. I've seen a few questions centering around just how campus rec could help a student make friends or be involved in the community or have a work-life balance. Can you speak a little bit to that, Dave?
Yeah, so that's really what we strive to do, is really try to connect students around the sport, recreation, and well-being. As Kathy talked about, we know that this is integral to have a well-balanced life and that we are a component of that activity. And that may be through the physical activity or it's just the socialization, being around other students, connecting with other students that have an affinity or interest around that. So all our programs are set up that way where really no experience is needed. So we do have things where people are learning for the first time. Like I've never played Ultimate Frisbee. I could show up and play in an intramural game, learn the rules, learn the game, and participate with other students. And we break down different levels of competition so that those that are wanting more competitive, we have those opportunities and more recreational. Also, a lot of our programs have kind of intro to learn the activity. So we have intro to wilderness first aid or learn to climb series or our fitness buddies. That is a great program if you don't have someone to connect with to work out or do physical activity or movement. We pair up on your interests. And so that's another great way to connect with students from that. What we've done some research with the health sciences faculty have done research, and what they found is that fitness buddies that come into the program, they're more adept to going to classes regularly because hey, I have my fitness buddy engagement and then I have class, or vice versa, and they're actually engaging more in class. Some of our other things, we do intro to weight training for students that don't know how to use our fitness equipment or weight equipment or never have done that. We have those types of classes. Or sport oriented, don't have a team to play on. It's called our intramural sports free agent. So another way that will then place you on a team or able to connect with other students. So we do a great thing. When you talk to alumni, some of their experiences they talk about is actually what we do. And they're like, hey, I met my best friends actually playing in the intramural soccer league, or I did fitness classes with so-and-so, or I took this fitness class from this instructor. So we do see a lot of that connection of creating friendships that are not only in college, but last after college as well.
For sure. Thank you so much. And I think maybe you've answered this a little bit already with some of like your intro classes, but what measures does the university take to ensure just like the safety and security for like some of those outdoor outings or during some of these classes, especially for people who are new to maybe some of these physical activities?
Yeah. So first of all, when students walk into our building, it's a secure access point. So you have to have an ID and scan in through our turnstiles. So that's one security measure that we have in place. All of our staff, both professional and student staff, are certified in first aid and CPR with AED and Narcan as well to administer that. So those are all the pieces that we put in place. We have staff that are trained in emergency action plans through that. If there was a fire in our building, how to evacuate calmly, safely to do that. And then all of our staff are trained in safety measures of cleaning the equipment to make sure they're safe and appropriate from our maintenance, but also then just from a cleanliness. We also have our students trained for sports officiating, so they know the rules of the game to make sure they're safe in those aspects. So obviously, if there is an injury and accident, they will respond. Our wellness center there is for referral care as well, if needed, so which is really nice within our facility space in that aspect. As far as outdoor outings as well, so anytime one of our trips go out there, we create a trip program or plan, which includes emergency action plans. All of those staff are certified again in CPR, first aid, and AED. Some of our staff even have additional credentials on wilderness first aid certification as well. And then our triplets are trained to be able to lead those trips. So they are not able to go out unless they are knowledgeable or work with that. Some of our trips also, like our skydiving, our staff are not the skydiving with the students. We actually work with a third-party vendor that we have vetted through our risk management office and legal. And we have a contract with them where our trip leaders will take them to the site. And then there is the third party that is organizing training and then provides that skydiving experience in that way. And then also in that emergency action plan for outdoor outings, it has the closest hospital. It has all that information if there's an emergency contact information, if any incident would have to go through that appropriate protocol and communication.
Great. Thank you so much for such a thorough answer. Moving a little bit more into Chrissy and Kathy's realm, we have some questions just about, I guess, what specific services from the Wellness Center and mental health wise. So starting off, this question is, my daughter is having roommate issues. Do you do mediation or conflict management?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We recommend that actually be started through their RA. The resident hall managers are also trained in that, so they prefer to do that, start there. And then generally, if that doesn't work, then we will help with that process as well. But that is something that your daughter can get through their RA and the resident hall managers.
Great, thank you. And if someone's child or student has struggled with mental health before coming to UCCS, is the Wellness Center able to take over their care, or do they try to refer out, or just try to give them the skills to continue to manage their care? Because that's a question we have.
Sure. So our model is a short-term model that changed for us after COVID, and that happened for most of the universities. So we have an 8-session model per semester. So students can come for 8 sessions during each semester. For traditional therapy, we have individuals who will be able could take over that care. If they are needing long-term care, maybe they're dealing with something that they're going to need somebody that they can see throughout their entire college career and need to see them more often, then we can help them with finding, we have a case manager on staff who will help them find resources in the community as well. Most of what the students are dealing with can be addressed in those 8 sessions, and they can stretch them out throughout the semester, so they don't have to just do 8 right away. They can stretch them out. But yes, we can certainly help with taking over that care. The only thing is we wouldn't be able to provide them the care doing therapy if they're still seeing a previous therapist out in the community.
Got it. Thank you.
I would also just add, for students who are taking mental health medications, we can take that over too. They would just need to make an appointment with our psychiatric nurse practitioner, and she'll meet with them, go over their history, what medications they're taking, how they're working, and then she can take over that prescribing role if that's needed.
Great, thank you. We have 2 questions here sort of about what to do if the student isn't going to reach out, but the parent thinks that they should reach out. Are you able to contact them? Is that a care team thing? And if the student's over 18, you cannot set up the appointment for them, but what would you do in that case if you strongly feel that your student needs to do it, but they won't do it themselves?
I would recommend, if you are concerned about that, I think there's two things to think about. One is if the student is struggling, and you would like for them to get some support and you're worried about them, please fill out that form on the Dean of Students website. That will get the resources started for them if that's what you're worried about. If your student, and that will get us so that we have people that'll either reach out to them, or even if we feel a little bit more concerned about going and talking to them. If you're worried about your student's imminent danger, please don't wait. Please reach out to the DPS here on campus. They can do a welfare check. If you're worried about their safety and you're worried that they're potentially are going to kill themselves or harm themselves in any way, please don't wait. Reach out to the DPS, or you can reach out to mental health services as well, but our DPS will be the ones that will be responding. And I'll just say on a side note, I saw that question about our police. Yes, our police have extensive training on working with psychological and mental health issues, and they are amazing. They are a really caring group of individuals. They purposefully chose to work in a police department that's on campus, and they are an active police department. So they do actually, they are responsible for, I think it's like 1 mile radius of our university, or just a little bit more, but they're very caring, and the students have had very positive experiences with them. So I just wanted to address that because I know that was a question.
Thank
I think
you.
somebody, oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I think somebody else was asking about just how to convince them to come in if they're not
Mhm.
willing to come in. Unfortunately, we can't convince them to, we can't force them to do that. If it's helpful for somebody from the Wellness Center, just call and talk to them. We're happy to do that if you think that would be helpful. I think encouraging them to maybe get on our Instagram, and some of the wellness pieces are really helpful to kind of start the process, and they might feel less intimidating to the student to start with some of those things, and then maybe feel a little bit more comfortable talking to somebody about uh, maybe more extensive treatment. But unfortunately, we can't make them, but we will reach out to them if we need to, just to ask them if they have any questions. Is there anything we can answer for them? Tell them what it might feel like. And I think that part of it sometimes is just that. Part of it is they don't necessarily feel like they have time sometimes to make the time, especially right now in the middle of all of this. So also us kind of explaining how that works and how we can help work around their schedules.
Absolutely. Thank you. We have a question here that says, our child is worried that she's going to fail 1 or 2 of her classes. We've encouraged her to contact a counselor, but she can't get an in-person appointment for 7 days. What can you suggest?
So she's reached out to her advisor. That's who she's trying to reach out to. I'm assuming that's what they mean by the counselor. I would suggest that they actually are also reaching out to their individual faculty that's part of the class, and get maybe a little bit more specific information. Actually ask where we're at. Unless they have done none of the work since the beginning, typically it's easy to kind of get caught back up. If they haven't been doing any of the work, then Dean of Students Office is a great resource to be able to help them kind of navigate how to talk to their faculty about it, what to do about it. They need to go ahead and drop the class, those kinds of things. So reaching out to the faculty member first if they can, and then reaching out to Dean of Students would be my next suggestion.
Great. Thank you.
Maybe I would just quickly add, I think all, if not most faculty have office hours. So there is times throughout the week that they have availability to just drop by the office to have those conversations or any other discussions they might have regarding the course.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Those are both great, really, really great resources. We have another question here. If my student doesn't want me to visit UCCS and isn't willing to communicate with me, what can we do as parents?
My suggestion would be to continue to keep reaching out, continue to keep trying to engage. And then, make sure that they're aware of the resources that are available to them. And then at that point, there isn't much else that you can do. And unless you are really worried about their mental health. And then that, of course, then start the process through the care team report. But otherwise, just continue, as we mentioned earlier, kind of that steady, just continue with, I'm here. I want to help if you want the help. Have you thought about maybe reaching out to this department, or do you think talking to Dean of Students would help, or those kinds of things, giving them some other resources, but maybe also trying to encourage them to get involved with some of the other things going on campus, getting involved with clubs, because maybe what they need is to find their own support system here, and that might be one of the things that they're trying to individuate. They're trying to figure out how to become an adult, and maybe are struggling a little bit with that.
Great. Thank you so much. I think that's everything I'm seeing right now. So unless we have anything else pop in, I'm going to go ahead and start my little closing spiel. So I'm going to take over sharing, if it works in theory. Yes. Okay. So, and we all see, where is it? Student and Family Connections page. Okay, wonderful. So, once again, this webinar was hosted by the Student and Family Connections Office in partnership with Campus Recreation and the Wellness Center. Thank you so much for coming with us and joining us. Student and Family Connections is also a great resource for your students. We do early alert, which is we get alerted when a student is doing poorly or seems disengaged in class, and we have our own team of people who will reach out and see if we can connect them to other resources. We have Family Connections, which is actually where this webinar series comes from, and First to Go, which is our first generation student programming, and Mentor Collective, which is where students can partner with other upperclassmen on campus and maybe just get some guidance from them. And our peer coaching and outreach and support and learning communities is also about getting students connected to other students on campus who can help guide them and connect them to the resources and just make sure that they help find community and find a sense of belonging. If you think your student would be interested in any of this, please just connect them to us through sfc@uccs.edu or through our phone number. We're always happy to help. We love directing students to the right places, and we also love being a resource for students. So thank you so much for coming to the webinar. Thank you so much to Kathy, David, and Chrissy. I really appreciate y'all. And if you need to rewatch this, it'll be posted on our YouTube channel and also linked on our Facebook and all of our other places. So please feel free to just catch us wherever you can. Thank you. And I will go ahead and end it now. So bye, y'all.